And we welcome you back on the Norwich Broadcast Network, getting ready for our second game of our doubleheader tonight as the Mount Ida Mustangs on the men's side get ready to take on the Norwich University Cadets. I'm Tanner Acebo, joined alongside by Jesse Navarro for the broadcast tonight. And Mount Ida coming into today's game on the men's side, a 4-10 overall record, 2-6 in the GNAC Conference. The Cadets posting a 3-11 overall record and a 1-6 in GNAC Conference play. And it is time for the announcement of the starting lineups. First, for the Mustangs of Mount Ida College, and a late roster adjustment for Mount Ida and their starting lineup, but we have that for you as starting at guard, 5'7" sophomore from Newark, New Jersey, number 10, Tyree Singletary. Starting at forward, a 6'3" senior from Dorchester, Mass., number 20, Kenny Jean. Also starting at forward, a 6'2" junior from Brockton, Mass., number 21, Trace Macklin. Starting at guard, a 5'11" freshman from Methuen, Mass., number 31, Nathan Bueno. And starting at guard, a 6'3" freshman from Warwick, Rhode Island, number 33, Ethan Dujon. Mustangs are coached by Ben Davis in his first season. He's assisted by Jakiri Simpson and Kevin Setal, as well as Brian Cerrone. And now the starting lineup for the Cadets of Norwich University. Starting at guard, the 5'10" senior from Coral Glades, Florida, number 5, Nikolai Havudis. Also starting at forward, 6'4" freshman, 6'4" junior from Chelsea, Vermont, number 23, Evan Tuller. Starting at guard, 6'2" senior from Groton, Massachusetts, number 33, Tom McDonald. Starting at center, 6'6" freshman from Grafton, Mass., number 44, Josh Evans. And rounding out the starting lineup, the 6'2" sophomore guard from Boynton Beach, Florida, number 50, Gary Gladden. Cadets are coached by Paul Booth, assisted by Didier Din and Dan Gothier. We're going to go ahead and pause for the performance of the national anthem by Mrs. Paula Gibbs.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? For the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Another great rendition by Mrs. Paula Gills, and we are ready to get underway from Andrews Hall here on the campus of Norwich University. And tonight is a very special night for the Norwich University Cadets as they welcome a new member of their team. Jimmy Giroux joins the team, a team impact player. So Jimmy down on the bench. He took warm-ups with the team as well today.
He looked good in warm-ups. He really did.
He looked good. He looked a lot better than I do when I'm out there on the court with the basketball in my hands, that's for sure. And Jimmy's on the bench with the team for the day. You get a look at Jimmy down there as well, taking a sip of some water. We'll see if the team expected to get an emotional boost from Jimmy. We'll see if they get it early on in this contest. Both teams very hungry for conference wins. Cadets only with one, Mount Ida with two.
Definitely, both teams have been struggling this month. Mount Ida just 1 for 4, and Norwich Cadets 1 for 5. Norwich losing a lot of close games this month. So if this ends up being a close game, honestly, don't know where's Norwich confidence level at with another close game if it happens. Because Mount Ida scores just 5 points less than they do averagely. So it'll be interesting to see if this gets close as the later the game goes, how Norwich responds.
Opening tip won by Mount Ida, and it was Bueno. Now this is Dujon. Inside power move, lay in for Trace Macklin. And the Mustangs take an early 2-0 lead on Norwich.
Macklin, their leading scorer with about 13 points a game. Mount Ida's going to heavily rely on him tonight to make an impact for the team. They want to get the win.
Gary Gladden wanted to go baseline, pulls it back, hits McDonald. McDonald's going to spot up for the tray, and he hits it.
I think the key for this game is Tommy McDonald and his three-point shooting. When he's hot, he's hot. But when he's cold, he's cold. He's a streaky shooter. And Norwich just hopes that he gets on a roll tonight. And they're also going to hope that Gary Gladden gets solid minutes and solid points tonight. Him and Tommy McDonald definitely Norwich are going to rely heavily on to try to get the W tonight here.
Foul called on the Cadets on the floor. So first foul on either side. Three put up and hit, and the Mustangs come down. Answer Norwich's three by McDonald. That foul was called on Gary Gladden as the pass down low for Tuller. He goes back outside to Havudis through the double team. Found Tuller. Means somebody's got to be open. It's Evans. Foul line extended. He can't hit the shot. Missed it off the backboard.
Mount Ida lucky right there. He was way open. He should have converted that. But Mount Ida gets away with one.
Now this is Bueno holding. They'll swing it far side for Singletary. Singletary driving. How did he get that open on the drive?
That was very nice. That was very nice.
7-3, largest lead so far for either side, and it belongs to the Mustangs. Havudis nearly stripped, but Tuller's there to back him up. Now Tuller holding up top. McDonald is calling for the ball. Instead he goes to his right for Evans. Now McDonald crosses over on his man, finds Evans, kicked it out. Gladden's wide open for three. Rattled around, wouldn't go. Both sides missing open looks early, as now Macklin bounce pass inside for Gene. Gene handed it off, and
nice.
Walking with it under the hoop, though, was Bueno.
That was still a real nice play, even though it doesn't count.
It's a nice play, a nice reverse layup, but he did walk with it.
Norwich right here. This pretty much has defined them so far for the good part of their season. It's very slow starts, and as you can tell with the record, it just really has haunts them, the slow starts, because eventually teams will take advantage of that, and Norwich would just haven't been able to get out of that rhythm, get too fast starts.
Holding up top was Gene. He dishes over for Bueno. Now this is Macklin. Macklin's just going to pull up for the tray. It's short off the front of the rim, and Havudis there on the rebound. Havudis up court with speed. Havudis right to the lane, drew some contact. They couldn't get the shot to go, but he'll shoot a couple of free throws as the foul was called on the junior Macklin.
Even though Macklin missed that was still a very good look. He got enough space. He just able to convert in. Norwich, you can't let him have those kind of looks tonight, or else he's just gonna go over there. Give him those kind of looks. He's gonna take advantage of them.
So Havudis is at the line for Norwich. 31 of 47 from the stripe this year. His first is nothing but net, and the Cadets get their first points since Tom McDonald's three-pointer a couple of minutes ago. Havudis hits the second free throw. He's 2 of 2. 7-5 Ida. Macklin, so back to Bueno. Now Gene, now Macklin. They really had to get it over the forecourt. They did just barely in enough time. Macklin has it on the far side wing, and he'll find Bueno with 20 on the shot clock. Bueno driving, kicked it out, pulling up for the tray, off iron, no good. That was let go by Dujon. Gladden on the rebound. Over to Havudis. Havudis trying to drive baseline, drew some contact, tried to float it up top to Evans. Swatted away and collected by Dujon. He goes the whole length of the court, stripped from behind by Gladden. He's going to stay with the Mustangs, though. And Dujon will inbound. Or check that, Bueno will inbound. Bueno, got to get it in. He finds Dujon. Up top, Singletary. He's got Bueno on his left. Now he gets the screen from Gene. Macklin, the shot up, and it's good.
Another open look. Norwich allowing an open look, and Macklin just taking advantage of it.
9-5, the Mount Ida lead. And Havudis to Evans. Cadets not freeing up many open looks in the last couple of possessions up court. Not a whole lot of movement off the ball right now. You can hear Coach Paul Booth yelling from the bench to move. Havudis now trying to drive, dribbled it off his own foot.
Mount Ida is just playing on-your-face defense, and they're not backing down from Norwich.
And Coach Booth going to take a timeout. 30-second timeout. Coach Booth wants to talk it over with his team as
Number 10 for Mount Tyler Singletary. I don't know if you see him coming on the bench. He was just hyping up Mount Ida with the good start they're having right now. He's bringing the emotions to Mount Ida right now.
again, it was a very emotional game, the last game here at Andrews Hall, an 83-77 victory for Suffolk in a game in which Norwich had two large leads evaporate. You mentioned that the Cadets have been on the tough end of some heartbreakers. A 1-point loss to St. Joseph's of Maine, the second team in the GNAC right now. That was here at home. Also a 96-93 double overtime heartbreaker here at home against Johnson and Wales. But you look at Mount Ida, they dropped a 2-point double overtime loss at LaSalle, so they know playing a game that goes the distance and then some.
Both teams just been in the bad end of the tight, close games. So once it gets close ends, the question is, who has that mentality of keeping calm under pressure when we get later on to the second later in the game when this is a close one? I think a key for this will be foul troubles. Norwich have been having a lot of foul troubles lately. Past few games, with committing a lot of fouls. They need to cut down the fouls if they want a chance to beat Mount Ida.
3-point missed by Macklin. Havudis brings it up. Cadets need some movement off the ball here on this possession. Don't necessarily need points this early in the game, but not a whole lot of movement off the ball.
They need to get Gary and Tommy going. Two most important players. They need to get their touches. They need good open looks. But right now, Mount Ida is just making it hard on them. Right
Evans
now.
was wide open down low. They find Havudis instead. His three-pointer's off the mark.
I think another key for the game is the three-point shooting. Norwich has been on and off this whole season. At times they'll be hot from 3 points in some games. The others, they'll be way cold. It'll be interesting to see the three-point shooting throughout the game.
This is Bueno just kind of holding it outside. Now he works his way around Gladden. Bueno blocked from behind by Gladden, and he comes away with it. Gary Gladden up court, wants to take it himself, instead kicks it to McDonald, open for three, spins out, no good. Put back tip by Tuller was just a bit too hard as it went over the basket. And the Mustangs will come back. Macklin dished it for Dujon. Now up top, Gene. Handing it off for Bueno. Macklin, the long two, nothing but net on the teardrop shot, and Mount Ida's going to take a timeout. 11-5, the lead for the Mustangs, as Mount Ida looks to bring at least one sub in after this timeout. Mustangs have come in here and staked themselves an early 6-point lead, but you look at both of these offenses, you can see Mount Ida moving very well off the basketball to this point in the game, and the Cadets struggling at their end offensively.
It shows. is what's been all season. Norwich just not being able to get the offense rolling early in the game, and that's what's really hurt them this season. And they seem just to haven't been able to find an answer for this.
The huddles have broken, and Tuller inbounds to Havudis.
Norwich just 1 for 7 right now in this game.
Into the game from Mount Ida, Henri Dowell, 5'10 senior guard from Plymouth, Mass. He wears number 24. McDonald, off some pressure. Tuller, wide open for three. That's off iron, no good. Rebound just through the hands of Jimmy Warden, who's into the game for Norwich.
Mount Ida is just doing a good job double teaming, triple teaming Tommy McDonald and Gary Gladden when either of those two have the ball. Mount Ida knows those two are their main core players. Because outside of those two, who has really proven themselves to be the third man for Norwich? Norwich still been looking for that third man to complement Tommy and Gary Gladden this whole season, and Norwich hasn't really been able to find that third man.
It's a loose ball and a foul called on the play. It looked like there's a foul on the board. Into the game, we mentioned that Warden in for Norwich, number 24. He is a 5'11 sophomore guard from North Andover, Mass. Also into the game for Mount Ida, number 51, 6'4 freshman forward from Hopatcong, New Jersey, Jesse Nelson. Tuller dishes it behind him for Havudis. Trying to get the screen from McDonald. Now McDonald comes off the screen. Havudis floated it into space for McDonald. 6 on the shot clock. Nice movement down low, and Tuller lays it in.
Nice awareness by Tommy McDonald right there in that play.
Couple of great passes. The first pass to McDonald, the second from McDonald to Tuller. Equals 2 points for Norwich. But they got to get some defensive stops now, as this is Dowell over for Nelson. He walked with it. And into the game for Kenny Jean for Mount Ida, number 34, 6'5 senior center from Long Island, New York, Patrick Wenz. Also back into the game for Mount Ida is Tyree Singletary, and Cadets had Gary Gladden wide open on the far side, but nobody saw him. Now, Warden drives, kicked into Tuller, head fake to the paint. Tuller lays it up, no good. Loose ball, Grant Brown over there, lots of contact, loose ball. It rolls out of bounds. Who did it hit last? It hit Grant Brown.
Well, I'm not too sure about that. It kind of looked like Mount Ida might have been the last toucher from here.
Brown, the 6'3 freshman from Whitensville, Mass. He wears number 15. Rifle down low. The one-hand lay-in scoop, no good. Ball's loose. Brown got a hand to it and gave it to Havudis as Henri Dowell couldn't get the shot to go. Gladden crosses up Dowell. Tough shot over 2 men. No good. Loose ball. Warden keeps it in play on the near sideline. Havudis, Tuller, open for 3. That one's no good. Brown got a tip to it. It went off the backboard into the hands of Singletary. And the Mustangs will slow things down. Cadets exact opposite of how they started their last game against Suffolk here at home, where they shot the lights out from long range. Struggling to this point. As a shot put up short by Michael Joseph, the 5'10 sophomore guard from Windsor, Connecticut. Havudis to the lane. Nice move. High off the glass. Gets the lay-in to go. 11-9.
I think this game is going to be dictated about rebounds and points in the paint. Mount Ida seems to have the bigger physical guys in the paint area. It will be interesting to see if Norwich can get around those big physical guys. And can they take advantage when Macklin's on the bench?
Floated up top, driving Joseph, kicked it out. Left-handed shot, off glass, off iron, no good by Dowell on the 3. Warden on the rebound, Havudis, and now it's Evan Tuller. Back to his left for Havudis. Gladden driving. Foul called on the floor before he had kicked the pass out to Havudis. Kenny Jean and Trace Macklin back into the game for Mount Ida. Gladden comes to the bench for Norwich as Josh Evans checks back in.
My Mount Ida, after going 5 for 10, 0 for 5 right there. So they're going in literal cold stretch. Let's see if Norwich can take advantage. But Norwich only 3 for 13. It hasn't done so well either.
Already a foul, another one called on Mount Ida before the inbound play even happened. Also, Tom McDonald came in for Norwich for Evan Tuller on the play. Inbounded to Evans. Up top, this is Jimmy Warden. Hands it to Havudis. Calls out a play. Hits Evans to his left. Ooh, he had Warden down low, but he pulled it back. Lots of green jerseys down there. Now Evans frees himself up for a two that spins out of the cylinder. Tipped back by McDonald, and that wouldn't go. Second chance points go by the boards for the Cadets. This is Singletary showing off his moves. Very quick point guard. Driving Macklin on Evans. The floater way off. Loose ball. Havudis comes up with it. Kept it in play as he dished it to Warden. Now he gets it back. 9:40 left in our first half. A rapidly played first half. Warden. Evans. McDonald making a baseline run. They faked the look to him, and instead it's Brown. Now Evans, wide open from the same spot as last time. He didn't want to shoot it. He walked with it.
He just doesn't show. He's not showing a lot of confidence right there in that spot right now. But Norwich is going to need to make him those shots. He's going to have open looks. He needs to convert them. He needs to take a chance with those.
Andre Dowell leaves the game for Mount Ida. As checking back in is Bueno. Three from the far side, long. Rebound pulled down by Brown. And now it's Havudis. It's the screen from Evans. Brown, now it's McDonald with it. Tom McDonald driving, rifles it to Havudis in the corner. Baseline, Havudis, nice little look to McDonald. He gets the little bunny to go, and the Cadets have stormed back. Tied this thing up at 11 apiece.
Those kind of plays. They need those kind of plays to get Tom McDonald open so he can convert on those.
6-0 run for Norwich after trailing 11-5. Pass in behind Joseph, but he was able to corral it. Handed it off to Bueno, the freshman. Bueno driving, kicked it. Joseph, baseline, tough lay-in, no good. Got his own board, put it up, and he gets it to go down. There's a sea of Norwich uniforms down there, but he got his own board and got the putback. Brown dish it to McDonald. On one hop to Evans. Now it's Nikolai Havudis. 10 on the shot clock. Havudis drive, wanted to step back. Instead, Warden, head fake. Nice head fake from Jimmy. Nice jump step into the lane. Just didn't get the bounce off the back of the iron. That's a great individual effort right there by Jimmy Warden. Bueno, away from Warden. Macklin, spin move. Now back, head fake by Gene, and he traveled. Tuller and Gladden coming back in for Norwich as Havudis and Evans will go to the bench, leaving the game for Mount Ida. Michael Joseph as Kyrie Alston, 6'1" senior forward from Highland, New York.
But both teams were already with 13 rebounds apiece, and that reflects the scoreboard right now. This is going to be, I feel like, a low-scoring game between these two tonight.
Yeah, this is an absolute battle right now as Warden for McDonald. Now Tuller, open for three, head fake, back to Warden. He got bumped, and he walked with it. Inbounded to Bueno. Sails it up to Singletary. Now with speed, Brown swatted it from behind, kept it in play. Great play by Brown. Caught up to the play, swatted it away, kept it in bounds. Now McDonald drives, got the double team, layup no good. Brown there on the tip. 13 aside. Long up court pass. Nice touch pass as Gene finds it after a nice play by Dujon. And now it's back for Bueno with 6:45 to go. Down low. Looks like Gladden almost got a piece. Tuller comes down with the rebound. Cadets looking to take the lead. Tuller turns. Brown, head fake on the tray. Driving. Lots of contact. Lots of contact. And Ida comes away with it. Nice pass down low. A low pass. Gladden nearly got a block on it. Mount Ida's going to take a timeout here. They just cashed in. and a potential cadet miscue on the offensive end, and they lead now 15-13 with 6:21 left in our first half. A couple of subs coming in for Mount Ida as well, it looks like, as I think Michael Joseph's going to come back into the game. Norwich sticking around right now. This game is all about rebounds, and
It is, and said it before the game started that these two teams are so similar in stats throughout the whole season, and the stats up to this point are showing that Mount Ida 1 for 6 in the 3-point, Norwich 1 for 7 field goals, 7 for 21 for Mount Ida, 5 for 19 for Norwich. So these two are very similar in so many ways. So in a way, Norwich is like seeing a reflection of themselves right now.
both these teams play a very similar style. Only thing is, I think Mount Ida has a little more height advantage in terms of
Definitely.
more players above 6 feet tall, but that has not been the difference so far.
Norwich with a 2 rebound advantage over Mount Ida up to this point, and we knew rebound was going to be one of the keys with the height advantage Mount Ida has. Can Norwich rebound? And up to this point, they have been able to.
Gladden brings it up court for the Cadets. Gladden, Tuller, Alex Preckle, fresh into the game for Norwich, number 25, 6'1 sophomore guard from Westford, Mass. Gladden, baseline, Warden, Preckle, Tuller, Gladden once more. Now McDonald, 10 on the shot clock. Rifled it down low to Warden, lost it over his shoulder, and it's scooped up by number 22, Kyrie Alston. Bueno, now a head fake from Dujon. Driving and floating to the corner is Joseph. Dujon threw it down low, driving up, no good. Tuller had the rebound, swatted out of his hands. It'll go back to Norwich as Kyrie Alston swatted out of the hands of Tuller. Havudis will come back in for Norwich to take the place of Warden. Havudis, bounce pass, cross court, Tuller. Gladden on the far wing. Got the screen from Evan Tuller, and he was sealed off as he picked up his dribble, had to get it to Havudis. Out to Gladden. Head fake, baseline. Gary Gladden, short. Blocking foul called as Gladden was fouled on the layup attempt. He'll shoot 2 free throws, and the clock stops. 5:05 left. Gladden now steps to the line. Gladden hits his first free throw. And his second as well. We're not back up at 15s as points very hard to come by in this first half. 5 minutes left to play.
And I expected this between these two teams. I knew points. This was going to be a very. We both said this was going to be a very low-scoring game, and up to this point, our prediction has come right. These two teams are just at it real bad, mano to mano. Right now, trying to find any single advantage both teams trying to get right now, and not much have presented for either side when it comes to advantage-wise.
Dujon goes to the basket for 2 on the lay-in, and the Mustangs reclaim the 2-point lead. Tuller hands it to Gladden, right in front of the far sideline. Gary over to Preckle, thought about the tray, now back to Glary. And this is Havudis, backpedaling with 15 on the shot clock. Trying to get a screen from McDonald, goes around him. Hits Preckle, right back to Havudis. 6 on the shot clock, now 5. Havudis, the drive, wants to do it himself, and he does. 3:57 to go. 17 aside. Bueno. Bounce pass over to Dujon. Bounce pass right back to Bueno. Nearly sealed the double team. Now Dujon out of bounds and deflected off of a cadet there in the far corner through a sea of bodies. And Ida makes a substitution. Jesse Nelson back in for Kyrie Alston. Bueno on the inbound. Tried to bounce it down to Macklin. Gladden swatted it away. Avutis up court. Pulled it back. Foul line extended. Buries the two. And Norwich has the lead 19-17. 3.5 to go in the first. Bueno deliberately up court. Into the corner, swatted by Tuller. Bueno will inbound, 27 on the Ida shot clock. Double bounce pass, and that time he couldn't get the reverse to go. Teammate there on the offensive glass was Joseph. That wouldn't go either. Tuller on the offensive glass, Cadets trying to pull away here on this offensive possession. Havutis driving, jump step. Nice move by Havutis. 21-14 Norwich, 3 to play in the first. Long up court pass, swatted down by Dujon. It goes back up top to Bueno. Now Macklin driving for Mount Ida was Joseph. No good. Tuller up court once more. Havutis wide open for three. Sets his feet and puts it short off the iron. Long up court pass. This is Dujon on Gladden. Blocking foul called on Gladden.
Gladden just wasn't able to set his foot on time.
Blocked on Gladden, so free throws upcoming.
Only the second foul for Norwich in this entire game up to this point, which has been surprising. Usually they commit a lot of fouls around this time, but they've been, for the most part, been able to keep it down, which is good, which they're going to need to do if they want to get this victory tonight.
Both fouls have been on Gladden, though. Warden and Brown both looking to re-enter the game. And at the line is Dujon.
Do you hold Gary Gladden out for the rest of this half with 2 fouls he has right now?
First free throw is no good. I think you have to. Just because if this game stays this tight, you don't want him picking up another foul in this next 2:37. That would really hurt you. You'd really have to limit his use in the second half. So Gladden comes to the bench as well as Preckle. And Warden and Brown are back in. Second free throw's good.
Norwich needs to get it in the hands of Tommy. Tommy hasn't really been attacking with the ball, and he needs to start attacking the ball, creating opportunities for Norwich.
Tuller needs help. He's called for 5 seconds. Nobody moved to Tuller. He was sealed on a double team, and nobody came to the ball.
Tommy tried to come and help, but he came in a little too late.
That's a play you can't fault Tuller. Someone's got to come help him out. You could
They
hear
just wasn't
Colin help.
aware. They just wasn't aware. Miscommunications for the team.
Floated down low. A nice pass blocked from behind by Tuller and a shot by Macklin. McDonald had the rebound, swatted away initially.
Norwich, for the good part, has contained Macklin. Macklin hasn't really been able to get anything going. And if you're Mount Ida, that got to concern you right now because you want Macklin to get rolling and get his touches. But Macklin is struggling up to this point. But you can say the same thing with Norwich. With Gladden, with 2 fouls, and Tom McDonald, we hasn't really been able to get anything go either. So the top 3 scorers in the game for these 2 teams haven't really been able to get going, and the scoreboard reflects that.
A shot by a three-pointer put up by Dujon was off the mark. Brown, the other way for Norwich, was the player that launched that three that hit iron and came out. Now Dujon, jump step, tough shot, get it to go off the back of the rim. And it's just a 1-point Norwich lead with 1:18 to go in the first half. Havutis hands it to Brown on the far side wing. Tuller was knifing through the lane. Instead, they go up top to Warden and now over to McDonald. Back to Tuller. Warden went down behind the play. Brown, Tuller, spinning on the pivot foot. Brown, Warden's wide open on the far side. Looking to set the screen for McDonald. He does. Havutis driving. Tough shot for Nick. The one-handed layup is good.
I don't know how he even made that in.
Now Bueno brings it up, 43 seconds left. Then around McDonald. Tuller tried for the block, no good, but he put it up off the glass, and Brown's there on the rebound. 32 to go. Coach Paul Booth calling out a play. Tuller nearly stripped, and he is. Coming the other way, Dujon to the rack. Layup no good, but they called Tuller on a foul. Tuller hit for the push from behind, and just the third cadet foul committed will lead to 2 free throws for Ethan Dujon, the freshman.
It's the third foul, but it's their 8th turnover of the game. They're being careless with the ball, and Mount Ida is taking advantage of that and still in this because of it. Norwich needs to take better care of the ball as we get near the end of the first half, and going into the second half, they're going to want to come out with this win.
19 seconds left as the first free throw is made. Shot clock is dead right now as Macklin, as well as Jean and Singletary all come out from Mount Ida. Calvin Claiborne, 5'11 senior guard from Dorchester, Mass, number 35 into the game, as well as number 34 Patrick Wenz, 6'5 senior, Long Island. The shot's no good. McDonald's there for the rebound, and the Cadets will have a chance to hold for the last shot here, now with 11 seconds to go. Norwich has not had great success in these situations, be it first half or second half when they have the last shot. Pavutis over to Brown. He hoists the tray. That is good! Brown hits the three. 26-21 Norwich.
What a shot.
And we'll go into the half with the Cadets leading Mount Ida by 5 points. A huge hit right there for Brown. He leads the team into the locker room. A nice shot in the arm there for the Cadet offense. And we'll see what the second half holds in store. This tightly contested GNAC contest. We're going to go ahead and break for the next 14 minutes. When we come back, it'll be second half action on the Norwich Broadcast Network.
The Hilltop Inn of Vermont is a must-stop for Norwich University parents, friends, or alums heading to an exciting visit to Central Vermont. Conveniently located off Exit 7 of I-80.